Guess who, folks? What's up? This is Michael in the Graveyard Shift. The wee hours, all that good stuff with your daily trivia question. Once again, I just can't help but be excited about this time of year. It's Halloween's getting closer. I started a whole series of Halloween trivia questions on my other platform that I do, which is just, off the surface, kind of off the cuff thing. But there's Halloween. It's got so many cool trivia questions with movies and characters and all that good stuff. So, yeah, it's a good time of year. All right, moving right along. Is it Friday yet? No, not quite. Not quite. One more day to go. Happy Thursday, folks. The answer to the previous trivia question was, of course, Monty Python's Flying Circus. Hilarious group. Very short-lived. A lot of people don't realize it, but it's just classic comedy. Monty Python's Flying Circus is the British sketch comedy series that aired for 4 seasons only, from its debut in 1969 until 1974. However, they made such an impact on comedy during that short period. The show was created by Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, Michael Palin, and Terry Gilliam. A few of these people, John Cleese and Eric Idle in particular, went on to be pretty famous in the United States in movies and in other TV appearances as well. Now, the Pythons, as they became known, met each other while attending college, and they sought out to make a sketch comedy show in a style unlike anything else. And boy, did they accomplish this. I'm going to tell you what. The episodes and sketches targets and pokes fun at much of British life, as well as aspects of politics. And this just made it hilarious. There are multiple references to philosophers and literary figures in their shows and short videos. The thing about a sketch on Monty Python, there was no punchline. It was just kind of random, hilarious fun. It is basically the way I can describe it. Just off the cuff stuff. It just keeled over laughing. Because they poked fun at British life, the Flying Circus quickly became very popular in the UK. Of course, there's nothing like the stuffy British, like nothing more than making fun of themselves, which often led to their comedy being deemed inappropriate, of course, by the BBC. And they were censored accordingly. I think season 3, some of their skits, by the time they had become very, very popular, were censored the most, which, of course, just increased their popularity even more. So that's the way it works. Initially, they didn't even draw an audience in the United States. Nobody even paid them any attention whatsoever initially. But they would soon later develop kind of a cult-like underground following of sorts in the United States when good old PBS began airing episodes even after the series ended, I think in 1975. You kids don't even know what PBS is. You have no clue. That was to us, to me, to my generation, PBS was like the 4th channel. That's what we called it. We called it the 4th channel. See what's on the 4th channel. There's nothing on the big 3. See what's on the big... Anyways, simpler times, as I like to say. I digress. The Flying Circus's British style of unique yet elaborate humor and all over the place formats. That's really what it was. Just scatterbrained all over the place. Went over well with multiple generations in the United States, especially the younger audiences. I can remember watching Monty Python when I was younger, for sure, on PBS. This would lead to multiple movies the group made throughout the 70s and into the 80s. Most notably, of course, say it with me, was The Search for the Holy Grail. Classic comedy. Oh my God, just the most hilarious characters in this movie. This was the hilarious take on the Arthurian legend and the various adventures and the characters the entire group encounters along the way. And they're never ending. And of course, perilous. It was just so perilous, search for the Holy Grail. And these were characters like the knight who protected the bridge, who got his arms and legs cut off. And he kept saying, it's just a flesh wound. Tis but a scratch. And of course, the knights who say, "Nee." And the sparrows that carry the coconuts and the flying cow. It just on and on and on. It was like a rite of passage when you were younger. That's the best way I could describe it. I can remember having multiple sleepovers, and we all rent Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail. We stay up all night long, just laughing uncontrollably at this movie, watching it over and over and over again. And if you're a comedy classic collector of sorts, you must have Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail, for sure. Holy Grail was undoubtedly the Flying Circus's greatest hit, producing some of the most iconic skits, of course, within the movie. And comedy ever. Historic, iconic stuff for sure. Albatross. So a few geek factoids about Monty Python's Flying Circus. Monty Python's Flying Circus became a very influential work on all styles and formats of comedy everywhere, all over the world. And a lot of times when things like this are very short-lived, Star Trek is an example, just a few series. Monty Python's Flying Circus for 4 series. They have such a huge impact on the work that they did. It's just a unique type of comedy that still resonates today. The adjective Pythonesque was actually invented to define the Flying Circus's unique style it had and any similar type of material. And you can often still hear that referenced to this day. You can probably find Monty Python's Flying Circus on one of the 500 channels of Nothing to Watch. I'm sure you'll land on it somewhere, or you can download it. There's probably clips of it on YouTube. I would suggest at the very least, adding the Holy Grail to your movie catalog and having a good time watching it one weekend for sure. Albatross. All right, folks, working our way towards the end of the week, but let's get through Thursday first. Check this out. Hang on, folks. My phone is ringing. Give me 1 second. Oh, my goodness, folks. I'm going to tell you what. That took me a couple hours. Wow. What a night. Busy, folks. I'm earning my paycheck tonight. I'm popping all over the place. Anyways, let's wrap up this trivia question for October 6th and get this Thursday started. Here we go. While he delivered a speech to the American public on this day in 1961, against the backdrop of the Cold War and escalating tensions with the Soviet Union, President Kennedy urged Americans to build these and even went as far as to say that the government would soon begin providing assistance for every American to do so. Good luck, folks. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. Sit in a corner somewhere and chill out. You guys have a thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for you all and all the hard work you do. Peace out.